We're back in Stoke-on-Trent. We're on our second project of the year. This is going to be a 5-bed, all-en-suite HMO. It's a big boy. Can't wait to show you inside. Let's go. So we're just 4 days into the renovation and there's a lot going on. I'll show you what will be bedroom 1 first of all. Now, with this property, the rooms are absolutely huge and we're going to offer at least 15 square metre bedrooms in all of the rooms. We've actually taken the chimney breasts out as well. We didn't intend to do this at first, but in terms of the room layouts, it's made life so much easier. And you can see as we've had to block up, because behind the chimney breast, that was just single skin brick. So again, unforeseen things that we've had to deal with. But considering it's 4 or 5 days into the project, we're not doing bad. Rip out's nearly done, and join us on the first fix as well, which is why we've got boards and bits of timber knocking around. I'll explain why there's a big hole in the corner of the stairs up here, but first go into what was the lounge and will now be the kitchen. The reason we're going to move the kitchen from there and into here is because we've got all the electrical meters and the water mains also we're going to send up into here as well. So we've got communal access to those facilities and not going to be trapped in someone's room. And also with the room sizes, soil pipes and drainage, it just works putting the kitchen in here. So when you are looking for a HMO layout, don't be fixated on where the kitchen is now. If the kitchen can be moved and it makes life a lot easier, deals can be made by the kitchen being moved into another room, which is what we actually did on another project as well. So just a bit of advice. Again, the chimney come out of here. It just opens the room up massively. So for the sake of a couple grand plus VAT, take it all away. Steel's upstairs, which is what I'll show you. It just allows us to work with the rooms much better. We'll head on to the former kitchen. So I'm going to wait until the end of the video to tell you about this hole and what's going on there. But that hole is the reason why we've got the house so cheap. So we'll come round, we'll loop round, and we'll talk about that in a bit. But first, we're going to go into what was the former kitchen. Another chimney breast has been taken out in here. Again, you know, you're talking like 2 foot into the room. It just opens it up massively. And the main bathroom, which was the only bathroom in the property, this can be now used as an ensuite. So in terms of drainage and plumbing, we haven't got to do anything. It's already there. We'll have obviously a new refitted bathroom. But if we were to have that as a bedroom, we would have had to run all the soil and mains pipe work under the floor into the ceiling. It would have been more expensive. Let's just make this one of the bedrooms and the ensuite's already there, perfect. Because they are a bit tricky with the drain layout, which is what I'll show you outside. But first, obviously, we'll go upstairs. Now, it was quite funny that this house was in absolutely terrible condition when we got the keys. It still is in terrible condition, but it'll be fantastic. But what was funny is that it had a whole new central heating system, a new boiler, which we are going to actually move and put in there. But cost-saving wise, all the copper pipe work's all been redone. So in terms of that, we haven't got to replumb the whole house for the central heating, which is cost-saving. Joiner's been in today, made some decent progress. The other side of this wall is a dentist. So just for sort of soundproofing, we are laughing out, just to create a little bit of a cavity, a little bit of a soundproofing barrier. And all the ceilings up and downstairs, we are going to drop. So for a couple reasons. Reason number one is that the 3 meters. Now, because we pay the bills, it's a HMO. We want to make the rooms as well insulated as possible, so lowering the ceilings will help us do that. Number 2, it will allow the electrician to be able to run his wires easily. It will benefit more from having that done downstairs. So actually we've got a really competitive price on the electrical work as well. A lot of the external walls we are going to lath out. So it means that he hasn't even got a chase. So just thinking ahead for speed as well. Into this ensuite, we've gone for quadrants just because it will work better with the kitchenette layouts. And we've still got plenty of room. We've done them 1.7 by 1.7. We'll still have plenty of room for a decent sized shower. And this will be back to back with the ensuite on the other side. So they will basically share all the mains and soil pipes, again, saving on cost. So we'll just press on into the other room and see what the joiner's been up to in there. Again, a good sized room. I think this room's about 16 square meters. So minus the ensuite, which is like 2 something, you've still got 14 square meters to play with. Regulations for this type of HMO in which they have just one communal kitchen area within a certain size, the rooms have to be 10.5 square meters. 14, we're well within that range, which is great. Now, as you can see here, with regards to this old render, it is crumbly, but as opposed to taking it all off and going back to brick, which is a laborious job, and we've got to think about waste because we can't get a skip. There's no off-road parking here, so there's nowhere to put a skip. We've got to think about managing the waste and taking it away. It all adds to cost. The joiner has laughed the walls out. It also allows us to run any pipes up, run any wires up, and it also creates a little cavity for soundproofing and insulation. So that's all good. Again, he's done that on here, and I'll just point your attention to this pink plasterboard, which is a fireboard. Now, where we've taken the chimney out, so there's 2 chimneys that have been taken out on this side. The neighbouring chimney is still in, and the pot is still on the roof. So that has to be supported by steels, which is what's gone in here. And then that steel, basically, it's joined to another steel and continues straight through and sits on the external, the internal, and then the external wall the other side as well. So you can see for building regulations, we have to have it fireboarded as well. So the joiner's been cracking on, which is good stuff. Again, good size ensuite, 1.6. The kitchenette will go across here, and obviously share all the mains and waste pipe work from the bathroom as well. So again, planning the rooms efficiently, and we also are planning as well where we're putting the beds. Everything gets thought about on day one, where everything's going, because obviously all the trades need to know where all the wiring, where all the electrics, where all the plug sockets are gonna go. So we're not just sort of winging it, we are thinking about everything from day one. So just before we go into the 5th bedroom, this was a bit of like an airing cupboard space. There wasn't actually anything in there, but we're now going to use this as a bit like a boiler / plant room. So that combi boiler is going to be moved into here. We're also going to have an unvented cylinder as well. So that window is going to be bricked up, and it's just basically going to be like a little plant room. Save us putting it in the cellar. It's just really convenient with all the layout, and it's quite central within the property, so we can just come off that for the en-suites upstairs and everything. So we've had labourers ripping out as well, taking paper off. I mean, yeah, that wall's terrible. These walls aren't that terrible. These walls, we think, can just be skimmed up. We're gonna have an ensuite in here. Again, another quadrant ensuite. We're gonna have the kitchenette there, and then the bed again on there. So this room just mirrors the other room on the opposite side. Now, the soil pie, there's a combined drain, ground level below here, and we're gonna essentially send the soil pipe up on the back wall, and then that's gonna supply all the drainage for all the en-suites. So in terms of drainage, we haven't done too bad. Drainage can be quite costly, but we've done quite well. We're only just basically digging down into what's there and putting a new manhole in, and just essentially bringing them up onto this wall, and all the en-suites will feed into that, apart from obviously the one that's the current bathroom. So we've done pretty well, to be honest, and obviously we're plumbers. We're coming in next week, I believe, to start the first fix and put the internal drains in as well. We've got building regs coming on Friday. It's all happening pretty quick, which is great. We're aiming for 12 to 14 weeks. We did the last one, the 4-bed, we did that in 12 weeks, which was basically all painted and finished, and then we furnished it in snags, which were about 2 weeks. So I know it's a slightly bigger project, and we've got more to think about with regulations, getting the HMO license. I think anything under 14 weeks would be absolutely amazing as well. So we'll go outside and we'll have a quick look at this back end of the house and see what all the fuss is about. So when deciding where to obviously purchase a property, is it a good area? How do you quantify what makes a good area? Well, why don't you let the people who have got the big money do all the work for you? Now, behind me was the former Stoke City Football Club, the old Vic ground. That was demolished and 200 houses were built on here, so a multi-10 million pound development behind me. And if it's good enough for the big boy developers to choose this location to spend all that money and develop all those houses, it's good enough for me to buy a house literally right opposite as well. So in the decision-making process, you've got to consider these things, and it's a big thumbs up for that. So this house was on the market a few times and it kept coming on and going off. And I think the issue was that it wasn't mortgageable quite clearly. We have started the renovation on this corner. Basically the corbel, which is what they call when they stagger the brickwork like they have done there. That lasted 100 or so years perfectly fine. In the last 10 or so, it seems to have subsided and dropped. It was propped up with an acro for all that time, and it has lasted, but there was no mortgage companies that would lend on this, which is why we got it for a really good price. So we're currently in the process of rebuilding it with some steel rods. We had structural engineers to give us a thumbs up for that as well. So this is the reason why we got it for 100k, and all the rest of the houses around here go for 130, 140. And they're actually much smaller than this as well. So we will talk about numbers shortly in terms of what we can get for the rooms and what the potential end value might be. But for ourselves and our build team, an issue like this is a relatively easy fix, but for a lot of people, it puts them off. Things like this we do look out for to obtain obviously low purchase prices. So hopefully not too much of a big job regarding the drainage. So as I was saying upstairs, where we were going to send the sewer pipe, this is the external side of that wall. This is the existing drain. We're going to put a manhole somewhere in here. and then essentially come up with the soil pipe, and the 4 en suites, the 3 upstairs and the 1 on this other side of this wall downstairs, will all feed into that. So fingers crossed, not too much expense, which obviously we have to consider when making that offer, but all looks good. So as you saw on the last video, the end product of our last renovation, we managed to achieve £700 a month per room on average for all those 4 rooms. We are going for an even better finish. We're trying to go better and better each time. So we've set the bar at 700, we might even get a little bit more. It's a great area, it's a great central location, Stoke Town Centre and the train station, literally a 5–10 minute walk that way. So fingers crossed, can't wait to show you the end product. See you for now.